Good morning. Little bit of a hazy morning here in Washington, D.C. We're at the corner of 24th and S Streets in Northwest. And I'm standing in front of one of those police or fire, probably fire call boxes here that has been painted and has been preserved, but there's no artwork in this one. And there's a little bug that keeps flying in front of my camera. It's driving me nuts. Okay, stop. But today, I think we'll see quite a few that do have some artwork installed. Today, we're going to take a look at the area where presidents and former presidents tend to live. This is the Kalorama neighborhood of Washington, D.C. So let's get ready to head out. We're really close here to Massachusetts Avenue. Good old Massachusetts Avenue, just there. We've been down that street before. So we'll take a little tour winding through the residential area here. And this bug has got to just leave me alone. We'll start here right on the corner of S Street and 24th Street. This bug just wants to be in the picture for sure. On the corner of S, there's the street sign over there, and 24th Street, this is the residence of the ambassador from, I think it's, let's check. I can't remember now. I'll be embarrassed, I don't know that flag. I think is it the Netherlands? Hang on. Yes. The Royal Netherlands Embassy here. And I don't have the history of this one, but truly one of those DC mansions that at the time was occupied by a very wealthy family, probably up until the 1920s or 30s. And today it's preserved because it's occupied as a foreign mission as the residence of the ambassador from the Netherlands. Quite beautiful and huge, and really nice gardens as well. Cross over and get a little closer look at the gardens. Good morning, everyone. Hi. Let us know where you're from in the chat. I'm not sure what those big white flowers are. They're not roses. Quite pretty. And a really good view here of the flag and the door. Beautiful. Now across the way here, we have taken a look at this block, but I don't want to overlook it. It's okay to do a repeat on this block. This is one of the more upscale parts of Washington, D.C., and historically the place where business owners, political leaders, presidents, former presidents, leaders of industry, all built their larger mansions, particularly during the Gilded Age. Hi, Diane. Nice to see you. Hello, Michael. That's awesome. This one here is quite a treat. This is just behind the Embassy of Cameroon. Is on the opposite side of this building here. And then I really want to take a minute on this one. So this is an example, as you can tell, of modern architecture. This is a new structure in the middle of all of these historic buildings. I think it fits. I think it's quite well done. Hello, Ha. Very nice to see you. I do think it's quite well done. And it's, you know, it's of a style that fits within the neighborhood. This is a stucco front with those great big windows with the black window frames. I love black window frames for sure. But it fits quite well with the historic mid-19th century, early 20th century architecture in this neighborhood. This is a busy street early in the morning. It's 7:30 in the morning on a Sunday here in Washington, D.C. And this street is quite busy. Now this residence here, former residence, is the former home of President Woodrow Wilson. So I said today we were going to take a look at presidential residences. This home you can tour, and we'll take a look at it. I'm going to be zigzagging across streets today. I hope that's not annoying. But there is a lot to see. So this is the home of Woodrow Wilson, preserved by the National Trust for Historic Preservation and open for visits. And I have not visited, so it's on my list. The reason I haven't visited is because it was closed for renovation for quite a while. And there's a really nice sign here, but it is full of QR codes, and I don't want to set my phone off. But it says, we offer guided house tours, various specialty tours, and self-guided neighborhood walking tours. Check out these events and at these codes. So if you're in the area, just go to woodrowwilsonhouse.org and you can get more information and schedule a visit. And I should do that soon. I really should do that soon. Now back across the street, I said I was going to zigzag. Well, here's a nicer view of that modern construction. Back across the street, we started at the residence of the ambassador from the Netherlands. And then over here, we have the Embassy of Pakistan, residence of the ambassador from Pakistan. The Embassy of Pakistan is up in the International Court Complex, which is in Northwest Washington, D.C., around the University of the District of Columbia. I have not done a walking tour there. We will. I've been avoiding it because it is like an industrial campus. There's not a lot of flavor or character there, but the embassies are interesting. And that's where the embassy is. And then here is the residence of the ambassador from the Islamic Republic of Mauritania. Over here. We are on S Street in Northwest Washington, D.C. Hi. Hey, Kevin. Kevin, we're on S Street. We're checking out presidential residences. And this is the former home of Woodrow Wilson. And many presidents, future presidents, or soon-to-be presidents lived in this super posh area of Washington, D.C. I'm glad you're here, Kevin. Nice to see you. And mixed in a few other beautiful works of architecture of note, and those gas lamps in front of the building. That's a bonus. We're not playing Main Street Bingo today, but for Washington D.C. walks, those gas lamps are a bonus for me. Oh, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. Thank you. Now, as you can see, we're on a residential street. During the weekends, parking is available. You can easily drive here, park your car, wander around. They do. They do. So do the Secret Service agents, believe it or not. I talk to them all quite frequently. Some of them have even been on my streams. They're actually really into the architecture, and some of them are really happy to chat about it. I like this one. I mean, these are my dream homes here. I don't think anyone would turn down the opportunity to live in one of these absolutely gorgeous mansions. We're just 2 blocks off of Massachusetts Avenue, but it's relatively quiet on this street, although today there's a lot of traffic. Check this one out. Everything I love. The wrought iron work around the door, the little balcony above the window. This one is a treat. Hope everybody's having a great Sunday today. It might clear up today. It started really cloudy today. Now this one I think was made into flats. Little apartments here on this corner. Sprinklers are on. I'm gonna cross back over. I'm zigzagging today. Hey, Space Nut, how are you? I'm definitely zigzagging today. I think we call it flats when, it's been a mansion and it's divided into pieces versus being purpose-built as apartments. This is the consular section of the Embassy of Myanmar, or Burma, whichever one is appropriate at the time, here at the top of the hill on S Street. Now, I've noticed literally this morning as I was driving in, I had to take a detour because the street was closed. And when I noticed several of the flags are really faded. So I wonder if they routinely, like they're all faded at the same rate. I wonder if they just routinely replace flags at the beginning of the year. And then by this time of year, everything's faded, because right now everything looks faded. I went past the Embassy of Argentina. No, not Argentina, sorry, Peru, Trinidad and Tobago, Uzbekistan, down that way on Massachusetts Avenue, and they all looked really faded out. So it just must be that time of year. Now this one, not an embassy, looks like it's under a little bit of renovation. I see some scaffolding in the back there. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. They're custom faded. It could be. Maybe it's a style. This little bug has been following me the entire time. He keeps going in front of the lens. All right, I don't want to dwell on this, but wow. That's impressive. The building is a chancery, the embassy is, right, the embassy is everything. The embassy is all parts of the foreign mission. And then you can have chanceries, consulates, other bits and pieces. I'm gonna do an entire video on all of this stuff. At some point, I keep saying that, but the problem is I keep going outside. So I don't have time to be inside. What I need is a really bad storm or a really bad weekend But then the problem is, the danger is that I'll lose internet. So then there's that. I just need time where I'm not allowed to be outside so that I can edit all my videos. And here's another one under construction or under renovation right now. Looking forward to seeing that when it's all done. Yeah, and when I took my detour this morning, I saw a few buildings that had been under renovation on some of our prior walks, and now they're done. So we're gonna go back down just a few blocks from here and see those buildings that have, where the renovations have been completed. This is the Embassy of Laos. And some folks who work here. Now those flags look great. Good morning. Those flags look good. This is a big embassy. The Embassy of the Lao People's Democratic Republic. Fantastic. I won't dwell on it since those people didn't ask to be filmed this morning, but quite friendly. Most people are really friendly here. Just say hi. Police officers, security guards, Secret Service agents. They're all quite friendly. Hi, James. Have you covered the house built by a senator? It's on Triangle Island. I will have to do some research on that. James, thanks for joining. Glad you're here. And the sun's starting to come at me. It was hazy, dark, and miserable not too long ago. And we're getting a sunrise. So that's really nice. So we've crested the hill on S Street. And now we're gonna work our way down the hill. And the speed limit's only 20 miles an hour here, as you can see right there. Oh, we're getting a great sunrise. Look at that. I'm on the corner of S Street and 22nd Street in Washington, D.C., checking out some of the beautiful residences. This neighborhood was the stomping ground of presidents and former presidents. We just passed Woodrow Wilson's house and a number of other buildings now homed with the foreign missions from different countries around the world. So glad y'all could join us. Hi, Danny. Nice to meet you. Just checking out a beautiful sunrise here on one of the tops of one of the hills in Washington, D.C. I'm gonna get that bug. This bug has been with me the entire time. You see this little bug that keeps coming in front of the lens? It's the same one. It's followed me from my car. It thinks it's my pet. And I'm gonna get it as soon as, just get close enough that I can reach you, buggy. Gotcha. Like literally, I just got it. All right. Now we're just gonna peek over here. I keep mentioning we're on the top of a hill, but you've also heard me mention around Washington, D.C. that it's not very hilly. It's generally not, except for a few little places like this area, in addition to Capitol Hill, of course. And then as you get close to Rock Creek, it gets hilly again because Rock Creek forms a, it kind of forms a, what do you call it? I mean, not a canyon, whatever you call a small canyon. It cuts its way through. Let's just put it that way. But here at the top of this hill on S Street, you'll find the Spanish Steps. Built 1911. I guess that R is for renovated. 1999. We're not going to walk down these steps. I would never do that while filming. That's just danger ready to happen. Because as you can see, the steps are kind of curvy. Oh, but the fountain is on today. All right, I might go down a step or two. The fountain's usually not on. Well, that's quite pretty. But this connects R Street down there. Actually, that's Decatur Place and then R Street, I believe, with S Street. And this is the steepest little part of this hilly area. And so there's some, oh, what the heck. Let's walk down. I'll be careful. All right, I'm not going any further. But it's a beautiful view both ways here. Hi, Alaska Jack. Yep, yeah, it was either Washington, D.C., Baltimore, or Philly. If you follow any of my streams, there's always sirens going. Always sirens going. But just a beautiful little park here in the middle of this residential area of Washington, D.C. And the fountain's working right now. I think every other time I've been here, the fountain wasn't working. So that's a treat. Helps to drown out the sound of the traffic and the sirens for sure. So many beautiful residences here. So if you happen to be interested in architecture and you haven't thought of Washington, D.C. as a place to visit for architecture, check it out. Go visit the monuments and let me try that again. Go visit the monuments and the memorials, but then take a trip off the beaten path into some of the residential neighborhoods. You can walk here from the National Mall. It would take quite a while. This is about a 30-minute walk. Whoa, from the National Mall. That air conditioner needs servicing for sure. I would, but it's great. It's fine to drive here. There's plenty of parking. And you'll see the signs restricting parking at certain times. Just read the sign. Just read the sign. Even mixed in where you'll see no parking, residents only. If you go down the next block, there's parking. There are certain stretches that are residents only. But mixed in between is available parking. That's a cute one. Kevin, yeah, that one is not happening. I am not making my way anywhere near the water in those fountains, for sure. Now you'll find a few little corner patches, as I'll call them. So Washington, D.C. is built on a grid. The streets that go east to west are the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G, S, T, U, V, W, etc. The streets that go north to south are the numbers. And then there are diagonals cut in a wheel and spoke fashion to connect important parts of the city. And that leaves these little triangles, these little tiny triangles. And on these little tiny triangles, if one great big mansion wasn't built, then a block of row homes like this one might have been built. I'm gonna guess late 1800s for this block. And I just love that each one is different. Each one has a different individual style. It's not like cookie cutter row houses, they're all the same. These all have a great character to them. Hi, Leo. Oh, show us the age. Oh, I don't know which one you're referring to. I'm so sorry. Danny, Philly ain't no playground. Oh, I know. I'll be there again this week. I do love it, though. For the history, I might be streaming from Philly tomorrow night. So we'll see. Little interesting bits of art that pop up everywhere. Another reason to get out of your car and walk through these residential areas. Not just for the architecture, but look up and look down and you'll find some art. And our next embassy, the Embassy of Costa Rica. That flag doesn't look faded either. Hi, ma chérie. Did you know there's a Philadelphia in the Holy Bible? Yes, I did. 13 years of Catholic school taught me that. Nearby Bancroft or going away from, oh, I know Bancroft is near here. Brighty 88, I do know it's here. Speaking of Brighty, look at that sunrise we're getting this morning. It's around here. I just don't know which way. I think it's behind me. I think Bancroft is behind me at this point. Thanks for joining, Brighty and ma chérie. Hi, Lloyd. Let us know where you're from. So the Embassy of Costa Rica. But I want to take a minute back over to the corner plot of row houses / townhouses. And where we saw the white brick and stone, now we've got brick. Unfortunately or fortunately, DC is a city with a lot of trees. So we might not be able to get a good view of these beauties that are obscured by the trees here. And now the sun is right in my eyes, which is totally fine because it's a beautiful morning. Hey, Ben. Ben, I'm sorry, I missed you earlier. I did see you, and I don't think I said hello, so I do apologize. But it's too bad we can't really get a view behind these trees. What you can see is just get an idea of the roof line. Hi, good morning. Getting an idea of this beautiful roof line and a lovely man who is delivering newspapers the old-fashioned way. Oh my gosh. Bless you. I like good old newsprint on my hands. You too, thank you. Wow. I haven't seen newspapers delivered in quite a while. It's good to know that good old newspapers still exist. That's pretty cool. So we'll take another look at that Embassy of Costa Rica with the sun on the right side of it. And yeah, that's a good flag. Hey, Abe, good morning. Look at the sky now. This day started out dreary, literally 20 minutes ago. This day was absolutely dreary, overcast, and misty rain. And we are now in blue sky and beautiful sunshine. And we saw a gentleman delivering newspapers. What a beautiful morning. Hello, Trump said. Nice to see you. All right. Now we'll continue down S Street. These little buggies, okay, now I do realize it's not just one bug that has been following me. It is quite a pack of little memers chasing me down here. But that's okay. So if a little buggy flies in front, wow, check that out. If little buggies fly in front of my camera lens, I do apologize. But I guess they live here too. Now we'll be here just for a quick minute on a very busy street. And then we'll duck back in to the residential areas. This is the convergence of, well, we'll wait till we see up there so I don't say the wrong streets, but it's like Florida Avenue, Connecticut Avenue. It's like 5 different streets all converge on this really busy intersection. But there's a lot going on here. And check out that railing with the stars. Thank you, Space Nut. I know, procrastination this weekend is crazy. I had a big list of things that didn't get done this weekend. Maybe that's what I do. Maybe I change my list of things that need to be done to my list of things that didn't get done. And then I'll feel like I'm reverse accomplishing things. Problem is, this weather got beautiful. Oh, and here's a few for sale. Here you go. One for sale by Sotheby's. That's just fabulous. So check those out if you're looking for a place to be. This would be my desired location. All right, there's some embassies here, but I'm going to turn around so I'm not shooting directly into the sun on this magnificent morning. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
And this is a good flag here. We are at the Embassy of Moldova, and that's a good flag. That's a really good flag. And they've got a Moldova sign there. Let me get across the street and get a better view. But this is that super busy intersection. So there's a way to cross this street. You have to go up the block a bit and cross at the appropriate place. There's like literally 8 streets that converge here. This is Connecticut Avenue, Florida Avenue, S Street. And this one has been for sale for a long time. Like, no one wants, as I mentioned earlier, the excuse me, the standalone mansions on some of these corners. No one wants this one. This one's been for sale for at least 2 years. All right, I'm going to be super careful as I cross here and then make my way back to where we started. Yeah, so this one is for sale if anybody wants it. This is at the corner of S Street and Connecticut Avenue. So if you're interested, do check it out. And I'm going to cross here carefully. And then that'll give me a better view of the embassy we just looked at, which is the Embassy of, what did I say? Moldova. The Embassy of Moldova, with the sunlight in the proper place. So if we step back, we can see that this entire building from the Florida and Connecticut Avenue corner all the way back here was probably one construction that was later divided into apartments, flats, a pub, and the Embassy of Moldova. Too much money to maintain. I know, Davy Verse. That's the problem, isn't it? It's the taxes. It's the upkeep. Even if someone gave you something like that, you'd need a fortune to maintain it. So you can see we're just, we're on the corner here. This is, I don't want to say the end of the peaceful residential area to my left or to the west. And then we're into the business area here, beginning on Florida and Connecticut avenues. Here in Northwest Washington, D.C. But today we're about residences. So we're going to make our way south one block. We were on S Street. So we're going to head to R Street and take a look at the embassy just across the street from Moldova is the Embassy of Albania. I hope they get along. I don't know. Don't know if they get along. Oh, they've put another flag out over there. There must be an event over at I should have asked when I was over there. I should have asked those nice people what was going on over there today, because they've just put a standard flag out. They're all decorated in the beautiful blue, gold, and red. And across the way, the Embassy of Albania. Now, I'm not criticizing, but a little bit of landscaping looks to be needed there. Just saying. Just saying. Hi, Kenneth. Great to see you. Great to see you on this amazing, beautiful morning that started out a little rainy and then just turned gorgeous. Now here, this intersection with this crisscrossing of all these streets is kind of messy. And you might miss some of the little teeny tiny blocks as you walk around this area. And this is where you get a big variety of architecture, and I am blocking the street when I shouldn't be, so I'm going to walk really fast. A big variety of architecture, like this one with the green terracotta. And those across the street, each one completely different. I mean, this is a crazy quilt of townhomes on this block here on 21st Street. Many of which you might notice around the house number, you'll see a small round plaque. I'm going to try to cross back over again. I'm zigzagging today. These small round plaques indicate that they're designated as a historic property in Washington, D.C. So above the sign here for the Travisa passport and visa service, that round plaque indicates a historic property. And there's one on this building too. And across the way, this is what I prefer. I prefer just a mix, a total hodgepodge crazy quilt of different architecture. Hey, Davyverse, thank you. Oh, well, X5000, I thought this was an amazing idea. And the cool thing is, when I left my home, it was hazy and ugly and yucky, and a half an hour later, it's blue sky and beautiful. So it's always a good idea to get outside. I highly recommend it. Hi, Carly. Carly from London. Carly, I have a lot of London videos, and I'm going to be back there hopefully sometime. I'll make another trip to London. Talk about architecture. London, I could spend months there. I wish I could. There are so many places around the world I need to get to. But London also has that history of having beautiful mansions, those, city homes of, like if you watch Downton Abbey and the city home of the Grantham family in London, and when they came on hard times, they had to sell those. It happened in London, it happened here, where the families could not have their Newport home and their DC home and their country home and their New York home, and they had to sell them. And thankfully, the ones that were purchased by the foreign missions, that helped to preserve the architecture. So it's a good thing. it's a really good thing that we have so many embassies and foreign missions here in Washington, D.C. It helps to preserve some amazing architecture. Pork Chop Fest 2.0. And there's France. And I've been to Belgium, so, but didn't spend enough time. I was literally in Brussels for one day and in Bruges for one day. So I have a long list. Abe, we need to go to Belgium and get some beer and fries. It's just across the channel in the Eurostar. Oh, hey, Davey. Yeah? Hey, you guys put the tour together? I'm there. Now, I do want to crisscross back over. Sorry. And hey, another shot at that beautiful Embassy of Moldova. You know, sometimes it's not, you know, it's 50% architecture. And no, I'll say it's 20% architecture and 80% lighting. But check this one out. That's an interesting one. For sure. Okay, I'm gonna get back on my original route because I do realize if I get too far off the beaten path, then we might miss some things that I had hoped to see today. Let's see what happens when I wander. Well, the cool thing is we find things we haven't found before, which is great. Hi, Milad. We're in Washington, D.C. We are wandering through the residential neighborhoods. I said I was going to be in Kalorama. I'm probably just on the edge of Kalorama. I've wandered a little further than I had planned to. But that's what happens when I find buildings that are interesting. But I wanted to get back across the way. Thank you, Carly. So for those who are new, welcome. I wander around different cities, wherever I happen to be working. Oh, it's hard to see that one because of the trees. I wanted to get the view of like the roof line on these two, which I think are interesting. But I wander around and get a close-up of this one. That beautiful roof line. So wherever I'm working, I take time to wander, usually one weeknight and one weekend morning. And today was planned to be a dreary morning, and look what happened. Blue sky, sunlight, green grass, red brick. We love it. What city is this? Washington, D.C. And you know, 8855 hideous. Yes, have your own opinion on all of these buildings, because I will also point out some architecture that I think is absolutely hideous along the way. So everyone's opinion is welcome here for sure. But I'm going to get back to my original path here. Yeah, this is probably the edge of the Kalorama area. We're just north of Massachusetts Avenue, where a lot of those Gilded Age mansions were. Those mansions, many of which became foreign missions, embassies. And back here in the residential area are a few smaller embassies, but also the residences of the ambassadors and former residences of former presidents, leaders of industry, all kinds of, I'm doing air quotes now, important people. So Trump said, you are correct. And I'm speaking, this is not a political channel at all. But I have worked in and around Washington, D.C. for over 25 years. And I can tell you, it is very safe right now. And I worked here when it was not safe. I've worked here through many administrations, both presidential and mayoral. And I can tell you, this is one of the safest times. I feel safer now than I have in a long time. And that actually started a little bit before the current activity in Washington, D.C. But if you see my channel, I've been doing these walks. I started live streaming almost a year ago. It was October of last year that I finished an architectural study where I visited every single embassy and filmed every embassy in Washington, D.C. And I decided to celebrate by making a live stream. I'd never done it before. Some people joined me, and a year later, here we are with 200 of you joining me for this walk. And I've been doing these walks, you know, with my regular camera, with my big girl camera, for who knows, honestly, 15 years. And now I have folks joining me. But in all of that time, every single day I find something new. And I'm not kidding. Every single day. I know every crack in every sidewalk in this city. And I still find new things. Now this is the Quaker Meeting House in Washington, D.C. And I'll cross the street to try to get a better view. Of the Quaker Meeting House. There's Templar gold. You know, there's probably Templar gold everywhere. I'm a huge fan of National Treasure. I mean, that would be my ultimate dream. My ultimate dream would be running around like Nick Cage in National Treasure. And these buildings are part of the Quaker Meeting House. Oh, thank you, Space Nut. I appreciate the cheering. Thank you. Really, Mr. Lighthouse? That's pretty cool. So we talk sometimes about the tunnels under different cities. You know, some would say in order to create the early sewage systems, but there are some tunnels for which there are not good explanations. This is an odd one. I think opinions are divided on this one. I like it. The ornamentation is a little strange. The door is a little odd. But I can appreciate it. I do. But again, we welcome all opinions here because we're about to see a monstrosity, in my opinion. Hi, Nakwang. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. All right, I will welcome all opinions on this huge, not very delicate. This is the residence of the ambassador from Thailand. This is the Royal Thai residence. I don't like it. Yes, Abe, exactly. And liking it is great. I appreciate all opinions. I think, okay, if I were to say what the problem is here, it's over shuttered. There's too many shutters. Ricky Poppy, I love that you love it. I love that you love it. For me, too many shutters. I don't know what it is. I don't know. And maybe it is that school look, Abe. I spent 13 years in Catholic school. Maybe that's what it is. Sometimes these buildings look like prisons to me. But we have the flag. And a really nice courtyard here. I'm all for the courtyards. Gross bean, that's funny. I love that. It is a nice driveway, isn't it? Especially in Washington, I think those are super classy. Hi, Bernadette. Nice to see you. So yeah, the Royal Thai Embassy residence. Bernadette, where are you from? So glad you could join. Charles, that's really, really kind of you. Thank you. It's fun to have folks to share my wanderings with. Now, let's go back to those historic call boxes that are scattered throughout Washington, D.C. Those beautiful, in some cases, works of art. This is my favorite one. So we're here at the corner of Decatur Place and 23rd Street in Northwest Washington, D.C. And this is my favorite. This restored fire call box has this beautiful sculpture installed of a turn of the century, turn of the other century, 18 to 1900s, turn of the century fire truck. This was a fire truck. Check out, we'll get a zoom in here. Arnold, thank you. That is super kind of you. Jim, I missed that. Good morning, Kmart shoppers. That's one of those things we miss. But this is one of those true gems of Washington, D.C. Look up, look down, look across. And here we have artwork in a fire call box. That beautiful sculpture installed here. And here is one of the plaques explaining the Sheridan Kalorama call box project. Now this one lists, it looks like 16 of the call boxes. Trust me, there are many more than 16. Some of them have had the artwork removed. And here's another one. And some of them have been recently restored or have been removed in order to be further restored. Here's another sculpture. This is one of a police officer using a police call box. So this might have been a police call box to check in. The police call block, let me try that again. Call boxes were black or blue. Fire call boxes were red. Brian, that's a great question. I would say yes, only because I've lived and worked here my entire life. There are periods of time when it's safer and when it's not safe to be in Washington, D.C. This is definitely a very safe time. Comes and goes, but it's really safe. It's really safe now. And I appreciate that. But yeah, so this corner here on Decatur and 22nd, this is the best corner for these restored call boxes. Now I have a feeling I see some people up here with wheelie bags. So we had looked at the Spanish Steps from the top down, and now we're at the bottom of the Spanish Steps, and I'm assuming there's a photo shoot happening. It's a great place for a photo shoot. This might be a, who knows, engagement photo of some sort happening at the bottom of the Spanish Steps. I won't interrupt them. So here on 22nd Street at the corner, when we're not distracted by those call boxes, is the Embassy of the Dominican Republic. I'll back up a little bit. Walking backwards is probably not the smartest thing for me. Not so elegant a building, truly, but we can give it some respect. We can give it some respect. Across the way, another variety of townhomes. And we'll work our way down to our street. Hi, Hector. We're in Washington, D.C. We're walking through the residential neighborhood of Kalorama, technically Sheridan Kalorama, because I came off the path for a moment. And we're checking out the areas where the wealthy lived, and still do, actually. Former presidents, former captains of industry, all lived here in this area. And now there are many foreign embassies, residences of ambassadors, or military installations like the Brazilian Air Force, located on this corner here. Let me do my thing and cross the street again. And we'll come back over and check out. Now, I have to count them up. I can't say officially, but I truly think Brazil has the greatest number of occupied buildings here in Washington, D.C. There's always a Brazilian something. There's Brazil Air Force. There's a Brazilian military attaché office. Embassies, of course. But, oh, try not to shoot into the sun. Ooh, okay. Complaining earlier about no sun. Okay, I shan't complain anymore. All right, this is hard to get a good shot here. But you're not missing anything. It's not a very interesting design on this building. Maybe I'll just get close up here. There we go. And see whose statue this is. This is the office of the Brazilian Air Force, and this is, I can't read that. Someone will have to tell me who that is. Alberto Santos Dumont, the first to fly an aircraft heavier than air by its own means. Heavier than air. Oh, maybe it doesn't mean a balloon. Okay. I got it. I think I got it. Hector, well, that was good timing. You got to the Dominican Republic Embassy when you joined the stream. That's pretty cool. So glad you're here. The weather, it is nice. The weather is nice. The weather is nice. Now, here, oh, it's still not done yet. Okay. So okay, this is where we're going to have to go zigging and zagging again. Let me cross the street again. When I'm on these little streets, we have to cross the street. Okay. So right here, and we'll have to get this one under the tree, is the Argentinian Military Command Attaché office here, this little one. But across the way, this is the rehab job on the Embassy of Tanzania. And this has been going on for quite a while. So, and it really doesn't look like it's too close to being done. So we'll have to continue to check in here. Tanzania is currently at a temporary residence in another building. But check out the federal style next door. Several federal style buildings on this block. I'm gonna go across again, and then I'll come back. I'll just zigzag this whole street. So we passed the Argentinian Military Attaché office. Hard to see some of these residences due to the exact angle of the sun right at this moment. Oops, and some traffic. But here we have the Embassy of Mali. This little cute one here. Oh, this truck cannot be trying to come down this street. It might be. Okay. I'm just going to stay here for a moment and see what this big old truck is going to do. While this cyclist gets out of the way of the truck. Okay, the truck turned down the road. Hi, Rebecca. Nice to see you. Hi, Lily Cat. Oh, Lily Cat, there is so much to see. You're in Fairfax. You're really close. You're really close. Take a wander. Take a wander. Look at this one. Look at that bay window. Look at the bay window on that one. You can't go wrong in Northwest. Just wander. Sometimes I make a plan and I'll give you all the historic information about these homes. I didn't do that today. So this one, I mentioned this was a presidential residence home. This is the former home of Franklin Roosevelt and Eleanor Roosevelt before FDR was president. So this building here, I can't get it from across the street. It is just too close. But this was FDR's home. Yeah. This one next door, look at this cottage looking design. Look at that. Now that's obviously been enhanced with some recent designs. That dragon door handle is pretty cool. The vines creeping up in front of the door. Gives it a real woodsy feel. Right next door to the presidential home. It's such... Tap the door. No, I'm not gonna knock on that door. Sagano, yes, the United States House of Representatives office buildings and the Senate office buildings do have tunnels to get to the U.S. Capitol quickly. It's really a matter of convenience so that they can get to and from the House floor, the Senate floor, in order to do business back and forth with their offices. So yeah, there are tunnels. There's a little train too that runs under there to help them move a little quicker. The rest of us don't have that convenience to do our jobs, but they do. Loving these urns. The Exorcist was filmed in Georgetown, and I do have a prior video where we walked to the Exorcist steps. It was just a few months ago, maybe 2 months ago. So check that out. X, that's a very interesting question. Very interesting question. Thank you, Abe. Appreciate that. I have mods. On days like today, I need them. Thank you. Now, once again, I'm going to cross over. We have just a few more to see in this neighborhood. Then we'll be back where we started from, believe it or not. This is a recent renovation. Let me walk down this block and then we'll come back to this corner. Let's see. So this street is called Dimitar Peshev Way. Was the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly of Bulgaria during World War II. Okay. So, which embassy do you think this is? This is the Embassy of Bulgaria. Oh, wow. What an experience she had as a youngster. For sure. The Embassy of Bulgaria is here. We'll check out this statue. Let's see if it's Dimitra. Nope, this is Vasil Levski, Bulgaria. Nice flags. Now this next block is Massachusetts Avenue. We have been up and down Massachusetts Avenue a lot, so we won't do that today. We'll come back up the other side of this block. And this is the Embassy of Somalia here. Now this one has that French style, that mansard, if I can get up there, that mansard roof. The wrought ironwork railings in front of the windows. Little tiny courtyard here. Maybe 2 cars can park here. But you'll see that French style architecture, that French influenced architecture in this neighborhood as well. And this is the American News Women's Club. Okay, never heard of it. Cute residence. Really cute. We have spent a lot of time on this one. I'm not going to spend time here. We could spend all day on this residence here. Check out a prior video. On that one. But let's get back up to our street. Take a good look here at the Embassy of Bulgaria. The antenna on the roof. Yeah, Rebecca, it really is. It's quiet, relatively. There's some traffic. This is where I would want to live. I live in the suburbs. I grew up in downtown Baltimore, and I miss being in a city. This neighborhood would be out of my budget range, though, for sure. Now this one on the corner, I know I've said like twice that I need to do research on this one, and I still haven't. This one is being developed into apartments or condos. And as long as I've known this building, it's been vacant. And as long as I've known this building, it's had a US flag on it. So I don't know what it was. So maybe this time I will do my research and figure it out. Oh, what did I forget to put in the title? Uh-oh. Holocron, what did I not put in the title? Did I not have a title? I had a little problem when I started the stream, and I had to restart it. Yeah. So, oh, okay, Holocron, thank you. Yeah. So this one will look for it to be developed into what's being called the Renaissance Residence. Maybe I can move here. Where historic grandeur meets modern majesty. I'm all for modern majesty. Try that again. Modern majesty. That sounds like me. But now let's take a moment and appreciate this renovation here. And it's kind of funny. There have been 3 or 4 buildings over the last year that I've really honed in on, and they have all been on the southwest corner of an intersection. So it's the combination of architecture. Hi, good morning. The combination of architecture and the perfect morning sunlight that hits these buildings that just makes them look great. So this is a renovation probably in the last year with the stucco facade. I'm gonna guess outside of the bounds of the specific historic architecture, but it doesn't have one of those little round plaques. So that's okay. I think this fits. I love the garden path in front of the house, kind of from the front door around the side. I like the flower boxes. I like the stucco. I like everything about this. I like the terracotta roof. I like everything about that one. Maryland does, Jim, if you check out any of my Main Street bingo walks, I randomly walk through different main streets in Maryland. And Friday, 2 nights ago, I just randomly found Queenstown, Maryland. Cute little town. I mean, just these little towns with some treasures. There's a courthouse there from 1707. And they used to have stocks and hangings there. Embassy of Niger. Right here. This one was undergoing renovation too, about a year ago. That's a good flag. A little bit faded, but that's a good flag. Now you've seen these buildings on my prior walks because I did cover the block across the way that I'm filming now with the residence of the ambassador from Cyprus, or maybe that's the Embassy of Cyprus. One or the other. Cyprus is over here. That's another favorite. Look at that beautiful stonework. Now, the building I'm currently walking in front of used to be an ambassadorial residence, but I see no signs and no flag. So this one must have moved out. So that must be a private residence now. Now this, you can always tell by the roof line. So this grouping, although some think this is one big building, this is 2 different buildings. You can see 2 different roof lines, 2 distinct roof lines here, but certainly built at the same time, made to look similar. And I love those window boxes. Hi, Donna. I'm in Kalorama, just off of Massachusetts Avenue. So no, not in Georgetown today, but I am often in Georgetown. I have several videos in Georgetown. And yeah, we're gonna take a walk back there in the fall, in a couple of weeks. So this one is, I'm gonna have to walk across. Gotta learn my flags. I always think I know them, and then I mess up. Macedonia? No. No. What does this say? Serbia. Hi, Tracy. I'm in Kalorama in Washington, D.C. Okay, so this one is Serbia. Beautiful building. So this one doesn't have the window boxes. This one has the window boxes. And this is the Embassy of Myanmar. So we saw the consulate building just around the corner. And this is part of the Embassy of Myanmar with the beautiful window boxes. And let me go back across the street again. So this is gonna keep happening. I'm zigging and zagging today, and directly across the way, the Embassy of Guatemala, the Chancery part of the Embassy of Guatemala, with that interesting artwork in front of the building. Oh, they are Space Nut. I am all for the wrought iron. So we've got artwork here in front of the Embassy of Guatemala. Wow. Holocron. I love it. Hi, GLP. Yeah, we're in Washington, D.C. We are checking out all of the architecture in the areas where I called this the presidential residences. So we saw Woodrow Wilson's former home. We saw Franklin Roosevelt and Eleanor Roosevelt's former home. But many of these residences were used by presidents. We've passed James Madison. On a prior stream, we did James Madison's home. We've done quite a few. Oh, you used to live in Foggy Bottom. I'm there all the time, too. I'm there all the time, all around GW. Not an embassy, but a beautiful home here. I feel like the zigging and zagging might get annoying for you all, but I don't want to miss anything. There's that flag of Myanmar / Burma, whatever we call it today. I cannot believe the sky and the sun today after the way that the day started. So gloomy. And here the embassy of Armenia with that very French, very Art Nouveau awning over the door. And a beautiful flag. Same colors, almost the same colors as Moldova, but the yellow is more orangey for Armenia. Hi Phyllis, nice to see you. And a garden here next to the Embassy of Armenia, the little monument. And now back across the street, sorry for the sun glare, that residence we were looking at. I'm so glad for all the trees, but the trees do make it hard, for sure, to get the entire building in the shot. Got a little bit of traffic. Hi, Morgan. Good to see you. Yeah, mind your business. Don't worry about those tunnels. I always want to know about the tunnels. Jim, I'm an explorer. Raiders of the Lost Ark, you know, that's that first impression on my little 3-year-old mind. Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then National Treasure. This beautiful building with its colorful flags and that beautiful crest is the Embassy of Kenya. Daryl! The Embassy of Kenya. And hey, that flag looks magnificent. That flag is not faded at all. Not one bit. Superb. That's a really good look. And next to it, Embassy of Vietnam. With a little bit of a faded flag. I feel like today I'm rating flags. Not my intention to do so. But I feel like more of the flags are faded than are not faded. So perhaps my theory is they all get a new flag at the beginning of the year, and by this time of year, they've all faded a bit. Thank you. Oops. Now across the way here, there are several different buildings here. I believe this is the residence of the ambassador from the Philippines. The Embassy of the Philippines is down on Massachusetts Avenue, close to 16th Street, near the Embassy of Australia. But this is another, like a French influence, not French. The front of this building is French influenced, but it has a terracotta roof. So whatever the style here, it's a little bit of a mishmash, but I really like it. So yeah. Most of these are mid to late 1800s in this stretch. And I realize for my friends in Europe, that's not old at all. For the United States, that's pretty old. That's pretty old. So where are we right now? We're at Sheridan Circle, which is why this part of the neighborhood is called Sheridan Kalorama, not Kalorama, Kalorama. And there is the statue of General Philip Sheridan, United States Civil War general, and whatever work was happening at that circle is done, because the last time we were here, there was it was fenced off, so they were doing some work around the statue. I'm not sure what it was. I don't know if they were working on the statue or working on the landscaping. But we've toured around the circle as well. This interesting, I'm going to call it. This is, again, not one of my favorites, but I can understand why some really love this one. This is the residence of the ambassador from Egypt. And that balcony, I mean, wow. I do like the balcony. I bet it's never used. I can't really see the ambassador from Egypt stepping out on that balcony and delivering a proclamation of some sort. I really can't. I don't like the curvy nature of this building. I realize why it is curved, because it's on a traffic circle. Not one of my favorites, but I do appreciate the fact that they always have the gardens going in front. And we'll cross over and we'll take a look at give a little closer look at some of the details over there. But yeah, not one of my favorites. But this is R Street in Washington, D.C. R Street, super for architectural studies and just taking a walk. Fantastic. Now, Sheridan Circle is on Massachusetts Avenue, kind of the home stretch, the golden mile of, more than a mile, of those Gilded Age buildings. So if you get to Washington, D.C. and you have time to get off the beaten path, that's where you want to start. Like that's your home base, is Massachusetts Avenue. And then really and truly, any side street off of Massachusetts Avenue is going to take you to hundreds and hundreds of examples of beautiful architecture. But I like these gardens. And if you can see by the door to the residence of the ambassador from Egypt, see these carved or concrete benches with the winged lions or griffins on them. Quite an interesting touch. It has turned into a beautiful day. I can't get over the blue skies. I cannot get over the blue skies here today. Jim, thank you for joining. Makes it all the better when I have someone to walk with. Now, we talked about driveways. I do like this one. And the French influence is a really good one. This is the, oops. I'm gonna just peek up a little closer. The residence of the ambassador from Chile. I've never actually gotten a peek inside this door, and I can see. Wow. Oh my gosh. I hope no one thinks this is rude. But again, that Art Nouveau awning over the door is magnificent. The statue of Orlando Letteler. I don't want to get too close. And this is an ambassador's residence, but still a residence. And the granddaddy of all the French-inspired architecture here, which is the Embassy of Haiti. Mansard roof, wrought iron railings, beautiful awning above the door. You can't beat that. This is the Embassy of Haiti. I do like the little rockery here. I think that's a really nice touch. You know, too hard to keep grass in a little plot like that. Turn it into a rockery. This one hasn't been occupied in a long time, at least as far as I know. It's an extension or a companion to this building here, although I do think this walkway was added later. I do think these were separate buildings. But in terms of French-inspired architecture, that Second Empire, these are magnificent. It would be great to see some nation in this building. It really would be wonderful to see what could be done with this one. Well, oh my gosh, I have been streaming for almost an hour and a half. I expected to stream for like 20 minutes because the weather was so bad when I started the day. So we're gonna just walk a little bit further and then end the stream in a few minutes. But I do want to take a peek just across the way here. These are private residences, and they are magnificent. There are some little embassies mixed in here. This one here, I just adore this one. I always have. But we are on Massachusetts Avenue proper right now. Oh, Bogeyman, that's very nice of you. That's very nice of you. Hi, how are you? Hey, we're not political. We're just about the architecture. So, no comments on the presidents except Teddy Roosevelt. He's my favorite. I'll tell you all about why he's the best of the best, because that man just got stuff done. Just got stuff done, and I admire that. More French influence here. As you can tell, this was kind of the hub of the Gilded Age, right here. We're back on Decatur Place. We had walked down Decatur Place, but we took a detour south on 21st Street. And it's so wonderful that these still exist. Tracy, I'm so glad you could join. Thank you. This is the Embassy of Croatia. Croatia. And we'll take a look at this sculpture. Is this Erasmus? Who is this? No, St. Jerome. Okay, I don't know why. Another philosopher. I know it has nothing, they have nothing to do with each other, but I always get Erasmus and St. Jerome mixed up. And I don't, no, please do. People belong in videos, there's people. But this is a beautiful sculpture here of St. Jerome lived from 341 AD to 420 AD in front of the Embassy of Croatia. Teddy was the man. I mean, he didn't take any stuff off of anybody. He just got it done. He just got stuff done. Most productive president in history. Got shot in the chest and kept going. He's like, no, don't take the bullet. I gotta keep going. I'm gonna keep talking. And this is the Embassy of Cameroon. I think what I'll do is go across the street because it's a really pretty shot, and we'll end the stream at the Embassy of Cameroon. Oops, I missed my chance. And there's other embassies here. I don't want to get it wrong. I think that's the UAE. Yes, I think that's that's a part of the Embassy of the UAE. The main embassy is up in that industrial complex in Northwest Washington, D.C. by the University of D.C. Straight across, oh, we've got some construction here now. This is new, so we'll have to see what's going on there. And then the cultural office of South Korea is in this beautiful, interesting building here. So lots going on Massachusetts Avenue today. And a lot of people driving way too fast. Way too fast. So I'm not even going to chance it. Sometimes I'll walk across against the light. I am not doing that today. Oh, Trump said, thank you so much. I'm so glad everyone could join. I'm so glad the sun came out and made it for a nice walk today. Okay, I have the walk sign, waiting for everyone to actually stop. Sometimes you get the walk sign and they still don't stop. Yeah, this is the cultural office of South Korea here in this building. But the shot I want to end on, hopefully it's a good one. Nope, not quite. Okay. Get a little further up the street. Get a little farther up. Too many trees. Oh, and this is the Embassy of, okay, so the one that's under renovation right now is Madagascar. So we'll come back for that one when the renovation's done. But this is the Embassy of Cameroon in this amazing second empire with the mansard roof, stonework and concrete work, all those balconies and railings. That's a beautiful, beautiful building. And it's been a beautiful day, and I have streamed way too long. Thank you to everyone who joined me today to make a really beautiful day in Northwest Washington, D.C. We checked out some residences of former presidents, as well as many, many other buildings to admire. I hope if you get to Washington, D.C., you have the opportunity just to get out and wander on these residential streets. Thanks everyone for joining. Thank you so much for my mods, Davyverse and Abe. And if anyone else was in the chat, I do apologize. But thanks to Daryl, thanks to everyone who joined today. Have a wonderful, Ben, I know you were there, Ben. And to everyone who's new and to everyone who's joined again, thank you. I hope you have a fantastic Sunday. Take care.